Welcome to the City of Sugar Land City Council meeting for Tuesday, June 4th. Item number 2, closed executive session. 2A, closed executive session is authorized by Chapter 551 Texas Government Code in accordance with 551087. Deliberation regarding economic development negotiations. At this time, we're going to adjourn into the council dining room, and we'll be back shortly. Good evening. Welcome to the City of Sugar Land City Council meeting for Tuesday, June the 4th. A little bit about our agenda tonight. In a minute, I'm going to ask Suzanne Watley to come down and give the invocation. And that'll be followed by the pledge. And we have a special guest tonight, Miss Ana Sofia Gallardo is going to come up and lead us in the pledge to the nation's flag and also to the Texas flag. And after that, we've got a couple special recognitions. Suzanne?
Can you please join? Hello? Okay, there you go. Thank you. Father God, we come to you tonight with great trust and hope that as we take on city business and begin new appointments, taking on responsibilities on committees, commissions, and task force, we remain focused on our community and the well-being of our residents. We ask your continued guidance in our decisions and your wisdom in our directions of our endeavors, in our work, and in our representation of our city. We ask you to watch over our first responders, our military, and those in unselfish service to others. For all these things and more, we ask these in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you, Suzanne. Anna, would you like to come up? And your guests, if y'all would all like to come up, and then Anna, if you'd lead us in the pledge to the nation's flag, and then the pledge to the Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Texas flag?
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, and one and indivisible.
If y'all go ahead and stand up. And I'm going to ask Mitchell Davis. Mitch, come on down. Ken Durbin, if you'd come down. They're both from aviation. Mitch is Deputy Director of Aviation, and Ken is the Assistant Director of Aviation. And Mitch, Ken, which one of you Mitch is going to introduce it. Go ahead, Mitch.
Thank you, Mayor. We're very grateful to be here to recognize Ana today. So every year, Texas Department of Transportation Aviation Division holds an annual art contest every year. And this is the second year that a student from Kempner High School in the Sugar Land area has actually won. So airport staff, me and Ken and the director, Elizabeth Rosenbaum, we were there this year in Galveston. And we got to hear the awards be read during the luncheon. And for the second year, we're very surprised and happy and delighted to see another member of our residents from Kempner High School, again, getting an award. And so we wanted to take a few minutes and recognize Ana Sofia Gallardo and placing second place in the 14 to 17 age category. And every year they have a theme. So this year was Air Sports for a Peaceful World. And I want to read just a quick quote from the program. And it says, "Let us imagine a peaceful world in which people live together in harmony, uniting through common interests such as air sports to create friendships, show kindness, and respect." So we're definitely delighted to see the skills and the art talent that we have in the community, and we're very proud of you. So we wanted to recognize you for that. And also we wanted to give you a few minutes to share your insights and where you came up with this piece that we have behind us. So Ana.
Hello, I'm Ana Gallardo, and I'm really, really happy to be here. I'm gonna admit I'm a little bit nervous, so sorry if I misspelled something. But well, the background for this art piece, like it was already mentioned, is to make hunches of the peacefulness that a world could achieve. So the main theme was air sports. It was like, okay, the sky already represents a lot of peace, a lot of peaceful meanings. So what could be more beautiful than all the countries, well, some countries representing the unity around the world? I would love to represent that. And right now, I know the world needs to be held, to be hugged. And so I really, really would love a peaceful world and represent it in an artwork. It was such an honor to me. Thank you.
Thank God. And I think we wanted to give a few minutes to Dr. Jackson, principal of Kempner High School.
Thank you so much for including Kempner High School and recognizing a student like Ana Sofia. At Kempner High School, we dream big for our students so that they learn to dream big for themselves. So I want to recognize Miss Mendiola because she gives our students opportunities to shine like this. And we are so lucky to have teachers who are committed and dedicated to our youth. And then I want to tell Miss Ana Sofia, you are an example of what a Kempner Cougar is because you took that big dream and you worked hard and combined it with your talent, and then look what you achieved. And we're so proud of you. And we want to thank the city for supporting Kempner High School. And come on down and anytime and see the amazing students like Ana Sofia who are dreaming big and making their dreams come true.
Thank you.
Well, we're extremely proud of all of you, Ana, and thank you so much. Thanks so much for reaching out to us. I mean, this is the kind of thing that we like to do. We're very proud of not only our citizens, but our students. And we have a Community Achievement Award for you, presented to Ana Gallardo Mendoza. This Community Achievement Award is presented to Ana, a student at Kempner High School that placed in the Texas Department of Transportation's annual International Aviation Art Contest. Ana was recognized as one of the 11 winners, placing second in her age category. The International Aviation Art Contest aims to inspire and motivate children to explore aeronautics, engineering, and science. Entries were judged in 3 age categories based on their creative interpretation of the aviation-themed prompt. The theme for the 2024 contest was Air Sports for a Peaceful World. Ana says, since I can remember, I've been drawing, mostly creating portraits that convey emotions. Currently, my artwork continues to express and evoke feelings that resonate with the viewer. I am passionate about art's ability to convey messages and promote positivity and strength. Congratulations for such a huge vision for someone so young. And Ana? And if I could get you to step forward, council members, if I get everybody to come down, Mike, come here. And we didn't get to introduce our final guest. Could you tell me who you are?
Hi, I'm Iman. I'm her friend and supporter. And I just want to say, I remember in lunchtime where she was drawing this, and every time she would come up to me and say, is it good, is it good? And I hope this shows that it's really good.
I think it's really good. I think we, council members, come on, guys, you gotta get in there. Our second recognition is National Safety Month. And I'm going to ask Melissa Ledesma, our risk mitigation manager. Melissa, come on down and introduce the topic for us.
Hey, good evening. So National Safety Month is nationally observed in June, sorry. And it is spotlighting safety hazards that can be found in the workplace, in the home, and taking measures to protect ourselves from those hazards to ensure that we are working safely and not injuring ourselves.
Thought you had a little bit more, so. I was going to put that up.
I could keep going.
Well, go ahead. We've got a proclamation for National Safety Month. Whereas since 1996, National Safety Month has been observed each June. This month focuses on promoting awareness about preventing accidents and injuries at home and in the workplace. During this time, we reflect on the working conditions across the country and consider how we can create safer work environments. And throughout this month, organizations, communities, and individuals engage in activities and initiatives to promote safety measures. These efforts include emergency preparedness, road safety, heat safety, and workplace safety protocols. And the goal is to notify organizations about potential risks and equip them with the knowledge to ensure their own safety and the safety of others. The focus points of National Safety Month are safety engagement, roadway safety, risk reduction, and prevention of slips, trips, and falls. National Safety Month encourages all of us to be proactive in anticipating potential disasters. You can apply this approach at both your workplace and home to enhance safety for not only yourself, but your loved ones. So, council members, if you guys come down. Before we move to public comment, I'm going to read the rules of engagement that we're all going to follow. And those are that speakers will be allowed to speak only on the action item. If you don't speak on the action item, you'll be given a warning. You're given the first warning and continue to speak, you'll be given a second warning and you'll be excused. Third time, you'll be escorted out. If you resist being escorted out, you'll be taken to jail. So at this time, we have a number of people. I'm going to open to public comment. We have a number of people that are signed up. I'll go through them as they're signed up. Samiha Risby.
Okay. May I begin?
Yeah, Samila, what item are you going to speak on?
I will be speaking on item E, consideration of and action on appointments of city council members to mayor pro tem, standing committees, task forces, and government agencies.
Go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon, City Council. And more specifically, Councilman Kermally, Councilwoman Watley, and Mayor Zimmerman. As you aspire to join the Intergovernmental Relations Committee, recognize the gravity of this role. This isn't merely a checkbox, it's a vital body entrusted with safeguarding our city's interests and fostering strong relationships across all levels of government, including state and federal, as clearly outlined on the committee's website. As a concerned member of our community, I seek clarity. Have you thought about how the committee can advocate for federal and international policies to protect populations facing genocide? Where do you stand on incorporating calls for a ceasefire to halt the ongoing genocide against Palestinians, especially considering the complicity of our federal and state government in funding weapons manufacturers? Will you hold a steadfast commitment to human rights within the committee's purview? Your committee advises the Texas legislature. As mentioned earlier, the state government has a role in funding genocide against Palestinians. According to the Texas Comptroller's Office, Texas has invested in Israeli bonds since 1994 and will now hold almost $100 million worth. Alongside unethical investments, the governor and members of the legislature have openly declared their intent to censor pro-Palestinian voices on college campuses during their upcoming session. And unfortunately, disturbingly enough, this body has also found ways to censor pro-Palestinian, pro-peace voices as well. These are blatant attacks on free speech. As a recent college graduate and community member, I find this intolerable. In your roles, will you defend our fundamental rights? In your roles, will you see to the end of our government's unethical investments? Your responses will reveal not just your dedication to our city, but also your commitment to global humanitarian principles. To act like local governments do not have a role in international affairs is irresponsible, especially if committees like this exist. If appointed, stand firm to ensure our city's actions embody the values of peace, justice, and human dignity. Free Palestine.
Our next guest is Michelle McKeska. She'd like to speak on item number 4C.
Good evening. Yes, item 4C is the consideration of an action on authorization of a budget amendment in the amount of $1 million from the FY23 Facilities General Fund to the FY24 CIP General Fund for the Police Department building renovations and purchase of modular buildings project CIP CMU 2403. So I see that the agenda item is to discuss a transfer of $1 million from the Facilities General Fund and I guess to be transferred. So what I'm hearing is that the money that is currently earmarked for our community is instead being used to build more buildings for cops, a real-time crime center, and a drone cockpit. I'm sure those will be used responsibly. I noticed last week a drone flying over our peaceful protest. What I have seen in drone usage is that it is typically used to surveil its citizens instead of investing, again, in our communities. Perhaps instead of taking from the General Facilities Fund, the police department could be a shining example of fiscal responsibility and maybe sell some of their drones to cover the cost. Just a thought. Tell me, and I don't know if this is maybe a question for the city manager, does the Sugar Land PD have an MARP vehicle? Armored car?
I'm sorry, we're not able to respond. You're able to ask the question.
Okay, then I'll continue. Perhaps the police department could sell those if it has them. They run about $500,000, and that's half of what you need right there. The police department, according to your budget, already makes up 24% of Sugar Land's expenses. That's the largest expense item in our city. It's quite high for such a small, relatively crime-free city. I, as a resident, am highly opposed to giving more resources to an already bloated police department, especially when those resources could be used to invest in our community. I see that the reasoning for these buildings is because they're crammed into a space that says that it's negatively functioning their work environment. I definitely understand that being trapped in a densely populated area would be very negative, would have a very negative impact on functionality.
5 seconds.
Thank you for your time. Free Palestine.
Our next guest is Insura, item number 4D.
So in accordance with the rules of engagement of the Sugar Land City Council, I'm here to speak on the action item of the consideration of a donation for firefighting supplies. In short, I am in favor of this donation, and I encourage funding our first responders such as firefighters and EMTs because of a few reasons, if you'd allow me to explain. Many of us underestimate how fast a home, a building, or tent fire can spread, and how many people end up dying from toxic smoke inhalation or deep burns. Firemen struggle against the clock, but one struggle firemen shouldn't have is funding for their necessary equipment. The first reason it is important to fund these supplies is that it makes the job easier on firemen. Providing them with the supplies they need is the minimum we could do. For the last for the last 9 months, I witnessed first responders in other places in the world struggle to protect people when their vehicles get decimated, or when they lose access to supplies, or when their water is cut off.
Please keep your comments focused on the agenda item, which is a donation from Fort Bend County to our firefighters, so the topic should be around our firefighters in this community.
I am trying to tie in my argument for them with the experiences and what I've seen.
I'm sorry, that is not relevant to the topic. Please keep your comments, first warning, please keep your comments focused on the action item.
The next reason that funding these supplies is a necessity is that they will make the fireman's job more easier and more successful in saving lives. This is important because firemen witness traumatic scenes that many of us in our comfortable careers and positions never have to face. Last week, millions witnessed the horrors of people being burned alive. Not in Sugar Land, but I witnessed—
Please focus your comments on this community and not other communities or anything else that's going on. It's relevant only to the topic here. Second warning.
What I'm saying is relevant to firemen and what they face and the examples of the traumatic
scenes. It needs to be relevant to firefighters, our firefighters at the city of Sugar Land, and relevant to Fort Bend County, which your comments are not. Focus your comments on the topic at hand.
I spent a long time preparing this speech in accordance with the policies, and you're basically silencing me, and it's not fair because I can't just speak off the cuff like that.
Time's up. Our next guest is Amina Ishak.
I'll be speaking on 4D. Today I want to speak on an actionable agenda item, which are the only topics we can speak on as clearly stated by Joe Zimmerman at the last meeting. Today I will be speaking about the consideration of an action on appointments of city council members to the compensation committee, as well as the actionable item of giving $5,000 in supply donations to firefighters, which I believe are both interconnected. As clearly stated on the agenda, the Compensation Committee's role is to review and recommend the compensation and benefits of the city manager. Since we have 3 council people being appointed to this committee, Noshad Kramali, Jennifer Lane, and William Ferguson, I will directly be speaking to you. You all 3 have a very important task at hand this year to ensure that our city tax dollars are being spent the right way and toward city occupations that serve the city of Sugar Land. As you take this responsibility, I want you all to ask yourselves why the city manager of Sugar Land is being paid an enormous amount of over $360,000 a year on citizen tax dollars. This is happening in our small city. in Texas, where city managers all across the country in much larger cities and higher cost of living in other states get paid a third of that. And when you add benefits on top of that salary, we are looking at least $500,000 being put into one resource that doesn't even directly impact or help Sugar Land citizens. This falls under the committee that you will be making the decisions. The estimated average salary of a firefighter in Sugar Land is roughly $70,000, 5 times less than that of the city manager, who is not putting his life on the line, sits in a cushioned chair all day in a lavish office. I want to refer to you and to your organizational chart of the city of Sugar Land, which is on your website, that clearly illustrates that we, the citizens, are on top of that chart. So I am demanding as a taxpayer and your boss that you take actionable item to ensure that the compensation is adjusted appropriately to our firefighters from the city manager's unnecessary large salary. These firefighters don't need to be begging for small donations for supplies. They should be funded much more than $5,000. They risk their lives and their mental health, saving lives and bodies that are getting burned in soaring fires. They run into homes set ablaze without a thought to their own safety, just like so many
30 seconds.
around the world are doing right now as we speak. They are saving the lives of little children and burning tents that are ablaze with our tax dollars. Free Palestine.
Our next guest is Shugan Khan.
Good evening. First, I would quickly like to speak on item D. I am definitely for this motion to get more supplies for our firefighters. I wholeheartedly support our firefighters, especially since recently I have come to see on an almost daily basis what kind of destruction fire can cause. And on that, speaking of firefighters, I did not know that the city manager made 2 or 3 times more than firefighters, and I wonder how much more.
I'm sorry, if you're going to speak on item number D, the compensation of the
Can you
city
please
manager
stop my
has
time while you're
nothing-
speaking, please?
First warning.
I'm sorry,
If
this
you're
is
gonna
my
speak-
3 minutes. I'm speaking on item D and C.
That's
Now I
not
will
what you
move on
said
to
when
C.
you stepped up. You said you were going to speak on item D.
It says C and D on the paper, does it not? Yes or no?
Yes, it does. But you said you were going to speak on item C.
Mayor, if we can
First
start
D.
3 minutes, if we can restart the time, please. Thank you very much.
Go ahead.
So to clarify, first I wanted to speak on D, and next I will speak on C. So again, I definitely support our Sugar Land firefighters. I think they should get a much larger donation than $5,000 in supply, especially since this motion C is for, this number is $1 million for the Sugar Land Police Department building renovations. This expansion plan that I read online is very unclear. Sugar Land Police Department is asking for $1 million of our tax money for what seems to be a very unnecessary expansion. The need for this $1 million has not been clearly explained in this proposal that you, city council members, will vote on tonight. Again, this proposed plan is very unclear and does not properly explain how this $1 million will be spent. The proposal for the spending of this $1 million is slightly over 1 page. The spending of this $1 million of Sugar Land taxpayer money is divided into 4 very vague categories, one of which is $75,000 for furniture. For furniture, $75,000. I ask you to vote against this proposal. I also ask you, Mayor Zimmerman and city council members, What will you tell your children? What will you tell your grandchildren 10 years from now, 20 years from now, when they ask you what you are doing in 2024 as a government official in the United States? Will you be proud to tell them that you stayed silent while the Sugar Land Police Department spent $75,000 on furniture? Will you not be ashamed to tell them that you stayed silent? And to the Sugar Land police officers in the room tonight who are supporting City Council, what will you tell your grandchildren? Will you tell them that you also stood silent while the Sugar Land Police Department spent $75,000 on furniture? Will you tell your grandchildren, officers, that you did not stand with us when we asked the city of Sugar Land to not spend $75,000 on furniture? Will you tell your grandchildren instead that you actually stood against us? Free Palestine. Maybe Palestine will free us all.
This time we're going to move on from the public comment. Item number 4, consent agenda. I'm going to pull item number 4E. If the council members are okay, I'll entertain a motion for A through D plus F. Got a motion by Watley. Do I have a second? Second. Got a second by Lane. You'll vote at this time, please. And it passes 7-0. Thank you, council members. I pulled item number D. Item number E, consideration and action on appointments to city council members to mayor pro tem, standing committees, task forces, and government agencies. I'll introduce the first. For mayor pro tem for a term ending May 31st, 2025, Councilmember Watley. I'll make the motion. Do I have a second? No second by Lane. You'll vote at this time, please. And thank you, council members. It passes 7-0. The next item, Finance and Audit Committee for a term ending May 31st of 2025. I'll introduce Stuart Jacobson, William Ferguson, and Carol McCutcheon. I'll make the motion. Do I have a second? Got a second by the Mayor Pro Tem Kermally. Vote at this time, please. And it passes 7-0. For the Intergovernmental Relations Committee for a term ending May 31st, 2025, we have Nawshed Kermally, Suzanne Watley, and Joe Zimmerman. I'll make the motion. Second. Second by Jacobson. Vote at this time, please. Can vote. It passes unanimously. For the Compensation Committee for a term ending May 31st, 2025, we have Jennifer Lane, William Ferguson, and Nawshed Kermally. I'll make the motion. Do I have a second? Got a second by Watley. And vote, please. And it passed 7-0, unanimous. Boards and Commissions Appointment Task Force for a term ending May 31st of 2025. We have Stuart Jacobson, Carol McCutcheon, and Joe Zimmerman. I'll make the motion. Do I have a second? Second, Kermally. And vote, please. And it passes unanimously. Houston Galveston Area Council General Assembly for a term ending May 31st, 2025. Our primary representative would be Stuart Jacobson. Our alternate would be Suzanne Watley. I'll make the motion. Do I have a second? Second. Got a second by Lane. And vote, please. And it passes 7-0. Houston Galveston Area Council Transportation Policy Council for a term ending May 31st of 2025. The primary member would be Joe Zimmerman. The alternate would be Suzanne Watley. I'll make the motion. Do I have a second? Second. Got a second by Jacobson. And vote, please. And it passes unanimously, 7-0. Item number 5, appointments, 5A. Consideration of an action on appointment of Joe Zimmerman, Mayor, Stuart Jacobson, Sugar Land 4B Corporation representative, and I would ask somebody from the 4A Corporation, who did you select? And Ms. Watley, Suzanne Watley, to the City Council's Economic Development Committee for a term ending May 31st, 2025. Do I have a motion? So moved. Got a motion by Jacobson. Second? Second by Kermally. You'll vote at this time, please. And it passes unanimously, 7-0. Thank you, council members. Item number 6, City Council City Manager reports. Let's start with the City Council member reports. Nashad, let's start with you tonight.
It's twice in a row, Mayor, you've done that.
I know.
That's awesome. This afternoon, myself, Stuart, and Suzanne attended a Harmony School Outstanding Partnerships where different community partners were there, and they were just showing appreciation after graduation of all the kids and parent nights and all that. Today they were just doing this to communicate. Stuart had the opportunity to be at Harmony High School, where they recognize their outstanding partners, and schools just don't happen just with teachers and administrators in the school, but there's a lot of partners that they have that have done a great job, and it was very nice that it was here in the city of Sugar Land. But more importantly, the principal, which we all know, Afreen Merchant, and we all know a Sugar Land resident, she was surprised with an Outstanding Partnership Principal Award. So I want to congratulate Afreen Merchant on that. And that's my report, Mayor.
Wonderful.
Well, I had the pleasure of going out to Oyster Creek Park Saturday night to see the Ransom Brothers perform. It's the first of our summer concert series out at Oyster Creek Park. So that was a lot of fun.
William.
Mayor, I want to highlight the great work that was done on the 27th Memorial Day for the Memorial Day ceremony. Our city never ever fails to go the extra mile on that ceremony, and I am so thankful that our community always respects those that have paid the greatest price to keep us free, and I'm thankful for our city staff for what they've done.
Stuart.
Thank you, Mayor. Yesterday, Carol and I went to the grand opening of the Center for Teens. It's a counseling center that is right here in right off of Williams Trace and 59, and it is dedicated just to kids 14 to 17 years of age, and it looks like a very promising place for a lot of young people who are having issues.
Thank you, Stuart. Carol.
Thank you. I attended a public engagement meeting about the extension of the Highway 59 bridge over the Brazos. So TxDOT's going to be spending $53 million to extend the bridge and relocate the abutment away from the threat of erosion. And that's going to be a 3-year-long project. And all of council attended a press conference at the airport with Commissioner Buckingham of the Texas General Land Office. And the exciting thing is Fort Bend County and Sugar Land are getting almost $43 million in grants for erosion control projects. And that includes along the Brazos at Memorial Park, which is particularly important to District 4, and on the upstream and downstream sides of Highway 59. And then also, 13 critical erosion areas have been identified, along 89 miles of the river in Fort Bend. And so this erosion control is very important because we've got $8 billion of homes, businesses, and critical infrastructure that could be impacted by that. So, and then also, Sugar Land hosted the Fort Bend Mayors and Council Association meeting, and the executive director of TML gave a legislative update.
Thank you, Carol. Suzanne.
Thank you. On May 28th, I think most of us were there for the announcement. Lizzie Fletcher, Congresswoman Lizzie Fletcher, did a press release here in our chambers and then went out to the public safety facility where she's donating $1 million to that facility to improve it, and that was really exciting. May 30th, Kelsey Siebold did a ribbon cutting for their expansion here, and many of us use Kelsey Siebold because they service our city employees, and they are bringing a massive amount of services here on their new expansion. So congratulations, Kelsey Siebold. We're glad you're here.
Thank you, Suzanne. We have a guest in the audience. I'd like to recognize Melissa Washington with the Texas General Land Office. Carol mentioned the fact that we had the GLO came down, and they've, out of the Hurricane Harvey funds, Fort Bend County and the city of Sugar Land have now received a large portion of those funds for the Brazos River Erosion Project. I would tell you that Melissa has been there with it every step of the way through the HGAC and shepherding that through. Melissa, if you'd please stand and be recognized. Thank you. And then I have a special recognition tonight. Mike, I had no idea how talented you are. You did? Nancy, up there on the screen, Nancy told me about this talent that this dancing talent that you have, and I got to tell you, I'm impressed.
Thank you.
I'm very impressed.
That's worth the money alone.
Yeah, and Mayor, I've used some of my compensation to dancing lessons, so I put it to good use. So, yeah, you got to love our comms team.
AI does wonders, doesn't it?
Oh, I'll tell you what, that was very well done. Mike, I'll turn it over to you.
No report, Mayor. That's enough right there.
It's now 6:12, and we'll go ahead. Carol? Got a motion to adjourn at 6:12 p.m. Thank you. Which mic?